Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and today I want to do a price performance video regarding the Swatch Moonswatch, specifically the Mission to the Moon version, the SO33M100. There are obviously a number of different moon swatches available with various colorways, but I think the Mission to the Moon watch is the best one to focus on because it's the one that most looks like the Moon Watch from Omega. So I think when it comes to something that is an affordable alternative to the design motif of Omega's flagship watch, Mission to the Moon is the way to go. So let's go ahead and get started. First graph I'm going to throw up here is one with a $0 y-axis. We are going to zoom in a moment, but we don't really need to, given this is so much more affordable than the typical watch I examine for price performance purposes. But this has been very much a hype watch, especially when it came out. And so because of that, I think it's been very interesting in terms of the price behavior. And we can see on the secondhand market that it has changed quite a bit over a very short period of time. This watch only came out at the end of March. So let's go ahead, though, and zoom in a little bit more so that we have a better understanding of the graph and what has happened with it. So first things first, all of the data I'm using is from Chrono24 for this reference number for the Mission to the Moon version in an unworn state. So just bear in mind, because Chrono24 has a lot of professional dealers on it, these prices may be higher than what we might see from a private party sale. But that being said, let's go ahead and take a look. And the first data point is for March 28th, where this watch was trading at $1,415. Now, as a reminder, for those of you not familiar with the Moonswatch, all of them, including Mission to the Moon, obviously, retail for $260. What you may not know is when exactly it came out. So this snapshot is 2 days after release. Release was on March 26th. And as I have noted, incidentally, March 28th, the first day of this third-party trend line, was the day originally these watches were supposed to go online for sale from Swatch. That never happened. At this point in the history, it just had seemed to have been a delay. They had been pushing the date back, and then they kind of were non-committal on the date. So from that $1,400 price point, we saw a dramatic decline pretty much in a 1 month period, about $400 in loss, dropping down to about $1,000 to purchase the watch through Chrono24 as of the end of April. And then we saw a continued slide downward. Now, the next pullout I have here is the data point for June 27th. At that stage, the watch was trading for $660. However, I did want to go ahead and note, the day after this data point, so June 28th, that is when the watch website Fratello dropped their interview with Nick Hayek, who is the CEO of Swatch. And it was in that interview where Nick announced that Swatch was now confirming that they have no intention to sell the Moonswatch online. So as of that point, we have continued to see a decline in the watch pricing, but not by nearly as much as we had before. So the latest snapshot data that I have from Chrono24 is as of August 1st, at which point the watch is now trading for $598. So really, since about when that interview came out, we've seen a drop of roughly $60. As you can see from the summary data, we're still at the current price point about 130% above retail to go and buy this watch secondhand. However, the peak pricing was right at the start of this when everything was so hype and everyone was in a scramble to get these at the end of March. So my earliest examination date is also the highest examination date. So we have seen a slide of almost 58% from then until now. Overall, I expect this watch to continue to fall in price, but at the slower rate that we've really seen ever since the end of June. And the reason I think it will continue to fall is, as Swatch has repeatedly stated, this watch, the whole series of the Moonswatch, is unlimited. So there's no cap, and this is a company that is designed to provide casual watches. They are not meant to be luxury commodities with some sort of scarcity, be it false or otherwise. The reason it doesn't bottom out faster, though, is Swatch's, in my view, very strange decision to commit to not selling the units online. Now, in the Fratello interview, Nick Hayek did state that they were planning to get the watch in more locations. They had plans to have more venues so people could be able to buy them because a number of individuals don't actually live near a Swatch boutique that has these. But how quickly that will roll out remains to be seen. And obviously, as long as they're staying committed to the brick and mortar approach or even mobile shop approaches, it's always going to be inferior than the online option to getting it into as many hands as possible. So they are artificially putting limitations on the accessibility to the watch, and that's where I think a lot of people who just cannot get to a boutique have been looking more and more towards the used market. But as more and more of these watches flood onto that market, the pricing just could not stay in that ridiculous stratosphere that we saw at the end of March. But anyway, that's the price examination that I have for you, and those are my thoughts on what will happen with this watch in the future. If you have any thoughts of your own, please comment below. If you found the video helpful, please give it a like, as that helps the channel out, and otherwise I will talk to you all next time.